Hey guys, welcome to Cheesecake Chats. Let's eat cheesecake and chat about life. We're back for part 3 of my wrongful arrest story. And just a quick shout out to the elephant in the room. Yes, I am a brunette now. We'll talk about it some other time. So back to the story. At this point, I'm sitting in the back of a cop car being driven to the hospital. It's all kind of a blur, and I'm pretty sure I've blocked some of it out. I do remember the back seat being surprisingly hard, like it didn't feel like a normal car seat. And then, weirdly enough, I kept trying to make conversation with the cop while she was driving. At one point, I told her I wanted to go to pharmacy school after I graduated, and she told me her wife was a pharmacist, which I just thought was a funny coincidence. And guys, she was being nice, but I could tell that she was in business mode now. Like, back in my apartment, we'd just been shooting the breeze, but now she had a real cop face on, you know? So we pull up to a hospital, there's a whole lot of radio chatter going on, and then we end up leaving without even going inside. She tells me that we have to go to a different hospital. And this is only relevant because my old boyfriend John had been following us, but this lady had zero sympathy for that. She just drove off and left him there. To this day, I'm not sure how he ended up finding out which hospital I landed in. So when we finally get to the right hospital, we drove around to the very back. And it looked like a loading bay or something, but turns out that's where they bring the criminals in after they've been arrested. And the nurses who checked me in clearly thought I was one because nobody was super friendly to me. I got sat in this bare hospital room, but I did not even get to sit on the bed. They literally put a chair in the center of the room and I had to sit there with my handcuffs on while everyone talked around me and nobody talked to me. At one point, a new police officer came in, and he looked like a stereotypical TV sheriff. He had a big mustache and a beer belly and everything. And keep in mind, I went to college in the South, so this man had a twang. He rather aggressively rolled this little table in front of me and slapped down a stack of papers that he said I needed to sign. I was still handcuffed, so not sure how he thought that was gonna work, but I digress. Now, I usually have the backbone of a jellyfish when it comes to people in authority, but I knew I was not about to sign those papers. I was too frazzled to read them, let alone understand them. But this cop was not having it. He started yelling at me, trying to get me to sign. And I'm not sure exactly what they were, but he was telling me that if I signed them, I wasn't allowed to leave, but that I needed to sign them. And this still surprises me, but I sat up in that chair, handcuffs and all, and said, I am not signing that. I don't know what it says, and I'm not going to do it. He then proceeds to rip those papers off the table and storm away. And considering I was handcuffed in a hospital chair, I probably should not have felt proud of myself, but I did. I'll spare you guys the actual medical talk, but I ended up being stuck in that hospital for hours. Thankfully, John did end up finding me and they let him sit in the room with me. I basically just had to keep explaining what had happened at the health center to a bunch of different doctors. And finally, this young doctor took over. I swear she was the only person who actually listened to what I was saying. She cleared me and apologized that any of this had even happened. The police let me go too, and I finally got to go home around like 2 a.m. So remember, this all started because a doctor at the student health center reported me. And I heard later from someone who worked there that they had an entire all-staff meeting about this situation because of how poorly it was handled. And I honestly think they were worried about me suing them because I did have a pretty good case. Maybe I should have, but I was kind of just ready to wash my hands of that and never think about it again. My college was super apologetic though, and they did treat me with kid gloves after that. All right, guys, so that's my story of the time I got wrongfully arrested in college. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And of course, I have to give our cheesecake a shout out. It is the chocolate mousse cheesecake from the Cheesecake Factory. It's pretty simple, but it is delicious. 7.5 or 8 out of 10 for me. I post new cheesecake chats twice a week, so make sure you give me a like and a follow so you don't miss an episode. I hope everybody out there has a lovely day and that you all find something that makes your life feel just a little bit sweeter. See you later. Bye.